The night sky above Pine Valley was unusually dark. No stars were visible, and the moon had disappeared behind thick clouds. Sarah Miller, a 16-year-old girl with wild brown hair and bright eyes, sat at her bedroom window, trying to finish her astronomy homework. But something felt different about tonight. A sudden flash of blue light lit up the clouds. Sarah jumped from her chair, pressing her face against the glass. The light grew brighter, moving fast across the sky. It wasn't a plane or a shooting star. It was something else. The mysterious object left a trail of sparks behind it as it flew over the town. Trees swayed in its wake, and car alarms started blaring all down Main Street. Sarah watched as it crashed into the dense forest behind her house, sending a shower of dirt and broken trees into the air. The ground shook. Pictures fell from Sarah's walls, and her mom called from downstairs. "Sarah, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Mom," Sarah shouted back. "Just some books fell over." She grabbed her flashlight and jacket, heart pounding with excitement. Whatever had crashed in those woods, she had to see it. Sarah snuck out through the back door, careful not to make any noise. The summer air was warm, but she shivered as she entered the forest. Broken branches and scorched leaves marked a clear path to the crash site. The closer she got, the stranger things became. The air smelled like lightning and burnt metal. Small fires glowed in the darkness, and strange footprints, bigger than any animal she'd ever seen, marked the ground. Then she heard it, a deep, rumbling sound, like thunder but somehow alive. Sarah's flashlight beam caught something that made her freeze. Scales, enormous, midnight blue scales that shimmered like starlight. The thing in front of her was bigger than her house. Its long neck rose up into the darkness, and when it turned its head, Sarah saw eyes that glowed like distant galaxies. Wings, torn and smoking, stretched out behind it. It was a dragon, not like the ones in her storybooks. This dragon had pieces of what looked like armor attached to its body. Strange symbols glowed along its sides, and where it should have breathed fire, Sarah saw what looked like swirling stars. The dragon's eyes locked onto Sarah. She should have run. Anyone else would have run. But something about those eyes held her in place. They weren't scary. They were sad and in pain. The massive creature tried to stand but stumbled. Sarah saw why. Its leg was badly hurt, leaking something that looked like liquid starlight. Without thinking, she took a step forward. "You're hurt," she whispered. The dragon's head snapped toward her. For a moment, the whole forest went silent. Then Sarah felt something impossible. A voice in her head, deep and ancient, speaking words she somehow understood. You can see me." Sarah's flashlight slipped from her trembling fingers. The beam caught the dragon's face one last time before going out, showing an expression that looked almost as surprised as she felt. In the darkness, those galaxy eyes kept glowing, watching her. And Sarah knew, deep in her heart, that her ordinary life had just become extraordinary. Sarah returned to the woods every night that week. She brought supplies from home: bandages, blankets, and food. The dragon, who told her his name was Stormwing, was unlike anything she had imagined. "Your world is primitive." Stormwing's voice echoed in her mind as she cleaned his wounds. His scales glowed softly in the darkness, casting blue light over the forest floor. "Says the dragon who crashed," Sarah replied, making Stormwing rumble with what sounded like laughter. The liquid starlight that leaked from his wounds was actually something called stellar plasma. Stormwing explained he was a space dragon, part of an ancient race that guarded the galaxies. His kind could breathe starfire and travel through space using their wings to fold reality itself. "Why did you crash here?" Sarah asked one night, sharing her sandwich with him. Stormwing's massive head lowered, his galaxy eyes dimming. "Pirates," he growled in her mind. "They hunt us for our plasma. They use it to power their ships and weapons. I was chasing them when they damaged my wings." Sarah noticed new scars on his armor, marking where space battles had left their traces. "Can't other space dragons help?" I lost contact with my clan 3 solar cycles ago. The pirates have some kind of blocking technology. Stormwing's tail wrapped protectively around Sarah as the night grew colder. Then one evening, everything changed. Sarah was helping Stormwing test his healing wings when a strange humming filled the air. The dragon's head shot up, his eyes wide with fear. "They found me," his voice boomed in Sarah's head. Above them, the clouds parted to reveal 3 massive ships, their hulls black as deep space, decorated with cruel-looking spikes. "Sarah, run," Stormwing commanded, but Sarah stood her ground. "No, you're still hurt. You can't fight them alone." The ship's spotlights swept the forest. Stormwing's armor began to glow, charging with power. Sarah could feel his fear, not for himself, but for her and her planet. "Then we must do something unprecedented." Stormwing's voice was firm. "No human has ever attempted this, but I sense something different in you, Sarah Miller." His wing extended toward her as the pirate ships descended. "Do you trust me?" Sarah looked at the massive dragon who had become her friend, then at the approaching danger. Without hesitation, she grabbed his wing. "Always." Stormwing's galaxy eyes blazed with newfound strength. "Then let me teach you how to ride a space dragon." The pirate ships opened fire just as Sarah climbed onto Stormwing's back, her hands gripping the glowing armor plates. What happened next would change both their lives forever. Sarah had never felt anything like flying on a space dragon. Stormwing's scales hummed with power as they dodged laser fire from the pirate ships. The wind whipped through her hair as they soared higher into the night sky. "Hold tight," Stormwing's voice echoed in her mind. "We need to reach the cloud cover." The pirates weren't making it easy. Their ships were fast, sleek vessels covered in stolen dragon armor. Red beams of energy cut through the darkness, forcing Stormwing to perform impossible maneuvers. Sarah's heart nearly stopped when she saw what was inside one of the ships through its glowing windows. Creatures with sharp teeth and scaly skin, wearing high-tech armor. Their yellow eyes tracked Stormwing's every move. "Those are the Void Raiders," Stormwing explained while barrel rolling away from another attack. "They've hunted my kind across 3 galaxies." A blast grazed Stormwing's wing, making him roar in pain. Sarah felt their connection strengthen in that moment. Somehow, she could sense which way he needed to move. "Left," she shouted, and Stormwing banked sharply. A massive laser beam passed through where they'd just been. "They're trying to hurt your wings again." Stormwing's voice filled with surprise. "You can sense their attack patterns. Impossible. Unless..." Another blast interrupted him. Sarah pressed herself flat against his neck as they dove between 2 pirate ships. Stormwing's starfire erupted from his mouth, not red like normal fire, but blazing blue-white like a newborn star. It struck one ship's engines, making them sputter and fail. "Sarah," Stormwing's voice was urgent. "Focus on our connection. Feel the stellar plasma flowing through my armor." She closed her eyes, feeling the energy pulsing beneath her hands. The glowing symbols on Stormwing's armor began to shine brighter. "It's working." Stormwing's excitement boomed in her head. "You're a starcaller. No human has had this gift in 10,000 years." The remaining pirate ships launched harpoons trailing energy nets. But this time, Sarah was ready. She felt the plasma surge through Stormwing's armor, directed it with her mind, and watched in awe as a shield of starlight formed around them. The pirates' weapons bounced off harmlessly. Stormwing's galaxy eyes blazed with renewed strength. "Now they'll hunt us both," he warned, climbing higher into the atmosphere. "Are you prepared for what that means?" Sarah watched her town grow smaller below them. She should have been terrified. Instead, she felt more alive than ever. "They don't know what they're dealing with," she said, the stellar plasma responding to her thoughts. "We're not running away." Stormwing's proud roar echoed across the sky. Together, they turned to face the pirates, dragon, and human united, ready to show the galaxy what they could do. Sarah's parents were still asleep when she landed with Stormwing on their front lawn. The dragon's armor pulsed with fading starlight as she slid down from his back. "The pirates will return with reinforcements." Stormwing's voice was gentle in her mind. "Your world isn't safe anymore. Not for you." Sarah touched the glowing symbols on his scales. The stellar plasma responded to her, dancing like tiny stars beneath her fingers. Her new powers as a star caller had changed everything. "How long do we have?" "Hours, maybe less." Stormwing lowered his massive head. "Sarah, I must return to my clan. They need to know about the pirates' new weapons." "But," he hesitated, "I want you to come with me." Sarah froze. "To space? To your galaxy?" "The Star Caller gift is precious and rare. The pirates will never stop hunting you now." And his galaxy eyes softened. "You're the first friend I've had in 3 centuries." Sarah looked at her house, her ordinary life. Through her window, she could see her astronomy posters, homework on her desk, family photos on the wall. Her mom would be making breakfast soon. Dad would leave for work. A distant boom made them both look up. Red dots appeared in the sky. More pirate ships entering Earth's atmosphere. "I can't just disappear," Sarah whispered. "They'll think something terrible happened to me." Stormwing's tail curled around her protectively. "Then leave them a message. But choose quickly." Sarah ran inside, grabbing paper and a pen with trembling hands. "How do you say goodbye to everything you've ever known?" She wrote quickly, tears falling onto the page. "Mom, Dad, I know this will sound crazy, but I'm safe. I've been chosen for something incredible. Remember all those times you said I had my head in the stars? You were more right than you knew. I love you both so much. I'll find a way to let you know I'm okay. Look up at the stars and know I'm out there. Love, Sarah." She left the note on her pillow and ran back outside. The pirate ships were getting closer, their weapons charging. Stormwing's armor was glowing brightly now, ready for battle. "Sarah Miller, what is your choice?" Sarah climbed onto his back, her hands finding their familiar place on his armor. The stellar plasma surged through them both, stronger than ever. "Let's show them what a space dragon and a star caller can really do." Stormwing's mighty wings spread wide. As they took off, Sarah watched her house grow smaller, then her town, then her whole world. They burst through the clouds just as the sun rose, turning everything gold. Earth grew distant behind them as Stormwing opened a portal in space itself, his wings folding reality around them. Sarah's last glimpse of home was through a curtain of stars as they leaped into the unknown. Sarah's first view of another world took her breath away. 3 purple suns hung in an emerald sky, casting rainbow shadows across floating islands covered in crystal trees. "Welcome to the Dragon Sanctuary," Stormwing announced as they landed on a massive floating platform. Other space dragons soared around them, their armor glowing with different colors of stellar plasma. "You brought a human." A silver dragon landed beside them, her armor decorated with spiral patterns. "Stormwing, the council will." "She's a star caller, Aurora," Stormwing interrupted. The silver dragon's galaxy eyes widened. Word spread quickly. Soon, Sarah and Stormwing were surrounded by curious dragons. Sarah felt their minds touching hers, filled with wonder and questions. Their amazement turned to alarm when Stormwing reported the pirates' new weapons. "They can track our plasma signatures now," he explained. "No place is safe." "Then we make ourselves safer," Sarah suggested, stepping forward. Her time studying the pirate ships had given her an idea. "Your armor, I can feel how it works. What if we could change its frequency?" The dragons murmured among themselves. Aurora stepped closer, lowering her head to study Sarah. "Teach me," Sarah said. "I can help protect you all." Training began immediately. Sarah learned to manipulate stellar plasma in ways even the dragons hadn't imagined. She could bend it, reshape it, even change its core resonance. But the pirates weren't idle. Their ships appeared at the edges of the sanctuary, growing bolder each day. Sarah worked faster, pushing her powers to their limits. Then came the night of fire. Pirate ships filled the sky, their new weapons glowing red. But Sarah was ready. She stood on Stormwing's back as they soared into battle, her hands raised. All around them, space dragon armor shifted color, their plasma signatures changing to frequencies the pirates couldn't track. The raiders' weapons fired uselessly into empty space. Now, Sarah shouted. The dragons attacked as one, their starfire burning paths through the pirate fleet. Stormwing's voice filled with pride as they watched the pirates retreat. "You've changed everything, Sarah Miller." But in the victory celebration, Sarah noticed something strange. The stellar plasma was acting differently, responding to her in new ways, as if it was trying to tell her something. A warning. The pirates hadn't just retreated. They were regrouping. And Sarah could sense they had one last terrible weapon. Something that could destroy not just dragons, but entire worlds. Stormwing felt her fear. "What do you see?" Sarah watched the distant stars, her powers reaching further than ever before. The real battle hasn't even started. The pirate flagship emerged from hyperspace like a dark star, bigger than 100 dragons combined. Its hull was covered entirely in stolen dragon armor. At its heart pulsed a weapon made from corrupted stellar plasma, powerful enough to tear reality apart. Sarah stood on the observation platform with the Dragon Council, her hands glowing with plasma energy. If they fire that weapon, it won't just destroy the sanctuary. The tear in space will spread across galaxies. Stormwing's armor hummed with power beside her. Then we stopped them here. The entire dragon clan rose into space, their wings creating a barrier of light. Sarah had modified all their armor, making it stronger than ever. But would it be enough? The pirates struck first. Waves of smaller ships swarmed out, firing nets of dark energy. Sarah reached out with her star-caller powers, feeling every dragon's plasma signature at once. "Now," she commanded. The dragons moved as one, their formations shifting like a living constellation. Starfire erupted from hundreds of mouths, creating a web of light that trapped the smaller ships. But the flagship was charging its main weapon. Sarah could feel the corrupted plasma building, twisting reality around it. They had minutes at most. "Stormwing," she called through their mental link. "I need to get closer." Her dragon friend didn't hesitate. They shot toward the flagship, dodging waves of enemy fire. Other dragons followed, creating a protective formation around them. Sarah stood on Stormwing's back, the stellar plasma responding to her will. She could sense the weapon's weak point, the place where stolen dragon essence met pirate technology. The flagship's cannon began to glow red. Sarah raised her hands, connecting to every drop of plasma in every dragon's armor. The power rushed through her like a supernova. "You took their plasma," she shouted at the pirates. "But you never understood it." Sarah's power reached into the flagship's weapon core. The corrupted plasma recognized her call, remembering its true nature. Inside the ship, alarms blared as the weapon began to turn against itself. The pirates fired in desperation, but it was too late. Their weapon imploded, taking the flagship with it. The remaining pirate ships scattered into deep space, their threat ended forever. Cheers erupted from the Dragon Clan, their starfire lighting up space in celebration. But Sarah couldn't join them. The power surge had been too much. "Sarah," Stormwing's voice filled with concern as she swayed on his back. "I'm okay," she whispered, even as her vision darkened. "Just really tired." The last thing she saw before passing out was Stormwing's galaxy eyes, filled with worry and pride. They had won, but victory had come at a price. As consciousness faded, Sarah felt something strange, a new power awakening inside her, triggered by the massive surge of plasma energy, something that would change everything again. Sarah woke in a chamber made of crystal, floating among the stars. The surge of power had changed her. Her skin now shimmered faintly with stellar plasma, and she could feel the cosmic energy flowing through space itself. "The transformation is complete," Aurora's voice echoed in her mind. You're the first human to become a star guardian." Stormwing lay curled around her chamber, his galaxy eyes bright with joy. "Your powers have evolved beyond even the dragon's understanding." But even as Sarah marveled at her new abilities, her thoughts drifted to Earth, to her parents, who still didn't know if she was alive or dead. "I need to see them," she whispered, "one last time." The journey back to Earth was different now. Sarah didn't just ride Stormwing. They flew together, their plasma signatures harmonizing perfectly. They emerged from hyperspace above her small town, now seeming so much tinier than she remembered. Her parents were in the backyard, gazing at the stars like they did every night since she left. Sarah could feel their love and worry reaching up into space. Stormwing landed silently behind the house. Sarah stepped forward, her feet barely touching the ground, her form glowing softly with starlight. "Mom, Dad?" They turned, their eyes widening. Her mother reached out with trembling hands. "Sarah, is it really you?" Sarah hugged them, letting them feel that she was real, even if she wasn't quite human anymore. She told them everything. About Stormwing, the pirates, her transformation, about how she had found her true purpose among the stars. "I can't stay," she said finally. "The galaxies need protection. But I had to tell you I'm okay, that I'm happy." Her father wiped away tears. "We always knew you were meant for something extraordinary." They talked until dawn, when Sarah felt the pull of her new duties. As she prepared to leave, her mother pressed something into her hand, her old astronomy textbook. "So you never forget where you started." Sarah mounted Stormwing, her plasma glow brightening. "Look up at night," she told them. "The brightest blue star you see. That's us, watching over everything." As they soared back into space, Sarah felt complete. She had bridged two worlds, Earth and the cosmic realm of the space dragons. Now, as a star guardian, she would protect them both. Stormwing's voice rumbled happily in her mind. "Ready to start our next adventure?" Sarah smiled, the stellar plasma dancing around her like a cloak of stars. Behind them, Earth spun peacefully, while ahead stretched infinite galaxies waiting to be explored. "With you, always." And so began the legend of the Star Guardian and her space dragon, defenders of worlds, guardians of the cosmic balance, and proof that the greatest power in any galaxy is the bond between true friends.